Hello again. In this video, we are going to continue a conversation that we've been having from a previous video, part 1, where we are talking about, as a certified American accent trainer, what is it that I'm listening for when I hear my students and I'm guiding my students through their accent training. Now, we talked about that the 3 things that I'm listening for. First of all, I'm listening for the 3 easy tips, which are slow down, move your mouth, and speak up. The second thing that I'm looking for is the sounds of English. And the third thing that I'm looking for is the rhythm of English. So in this video, I'm going to concentrate more on the sounds of English and what that exactly means, and give you a few examples. Okay, so a lot of times what I have for my students, I'll have my students say, can you just listen to me and let me know what it is that I need to be focused on this week, okay? And so this last week, I had a student who came to me and said, can you listen and let me know what I need to be working on? And so in my mind, I'm listening to them. They're reading a paragraph, and I'm listening to them and saying and thinking, okay, are they doing the 3 easy tips? Are they speaking slowly? Are they moving their mouth? Are they speaking up? Yes, this person was using those 3 easy tips, okay? My mind then goes to the next step. It's the sounds of English. Is this person using the correct sounds of English? If not, what are they doing incorrectly? So what I listen for is not just individual words that are said in error, but patterns. We call them phonological processes in speech pathology. We call them phonological processes, which means what sounds are they consistently using in error. So a lot of times what happens is instead of the TH sound in English, which is th or this or thank you, instead of using that TH sound, a lot of our students use D sound, where it's behind the teeth. Dis, or a T sound, thank you, for thank you, okay? So that substitution for the T or D for the TH sound. So what I have to listen for is say, okay, are they consistently making this error? In every TH sound that they're saying, are they saying it incorrectly? Or maybe half the time they're saying it incorrect. So I look for those patterns in their spoken English. In this specific study group, I was listening, and there were several sound errors that they needed to keep working on. But I knew that they were in a certain part of the Pronunciation Pro course, so I knew what lessons they had received and what knowledge they had, knowledge base they had based on the video lessons. And I knew that they were in the vowels section. And I knew that this one particular vowel was causing the most problems because it was the most inconsistent in their speech. So as I'm listening, I'm rattling through all these different sounds and prioritizing them. So I'm identifying, okay, what sound are they saying in error that is causing the most problems for this person, okay? And in this situation, it was the short I and the long E. So instead of the short I, I was hearing E. So for example, instead of this, I was hearing this. And instead of hit, I was hearing heat. So that short I, substituting the long E for the short I, is actually a very, very common mistake, especially for Spanish speakers, to pronounce that short I as E, because that's a carryover from their first language into English. Okay, really difficult pattern to break when we're learning accent and pronunciation. So I pulled up a worksheet that has a lot of sounds in it, that short I. So it was concentrated on the short I sound, and we went through the process, and I'll explain this in another video, the process of working on a specific sound. but we had to do a listening exercise to make sure that he heard the difference between I and E. So can you hear the difference between hit and heat? Can you hear that those are two different vowels? If they can hear the difference, then we move on to saying the sound in words, then in sentences, then in paragraph, and then eventually in conversation. But it's a progression, and we have to move through that progression in a very step-by-step way so that the student could really change it effectively. Because if you try and just skip some of these steps, you're not going to truly change that habit. It takes this step-by-step approach that we do in Pronunciation Pro to be able to overcome that. So I went through this with the student, and we went through the process of learning the I versus the E, and getting a lot of repetition and practice with that so that they could do it on their own and could take that home and say, and take that back and practice and do a little bit more, go back to the video on I versus E, and know that if they're practicing that's really, that sound, that specific sound is going to make the most difference in how clear and how close they're speaking like a native English speaker. Okay, so usually what I'll say is go home and practice that this week, get really strong with it, come back, and I'll give you the next sound that needs to be worked on. Okay, it's a progression, it's a process. So it's not going to happen like that, but as you have the right tools, the right program, the right materials, and you have that feedback, that consistent feedback, you can be very successful with changing your accent and eventually sounding more like a native English speaker. All right, I hope that helps you understand the process a little bit more and how, first start with the 3 easy tips, then start working on your sounds of English, and then we can dive deeper into the rhythm of English, and I'll do another video kind of explaining that rhythm of English and how we can kind of dive deeper into that. All right, take this, and I hope it helps, and we'll see you again in the next video. Bye.